Rico, our sixth interview now. That is a record. I don't think I've even done a fifth interview with anyone. So great to have you back. Last time we
Yes,
done the
sir.
interview was 4 months ago, 24th of September, and that was the 21st of January. So coming up to exactly 4 months. And last time you said you had made 55,000 from some side hustles, from UGC, from everything you were doing. I think you had hit 100,000 on YouTube as well by then. I'm sure there'll be more updates in a bit on that as well.
Yeah.
So, with everything that happened before and in those 4 months, how's everything going? How are you doing? It's great to have you back.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it for being here, bro. Six, that's crazy. But I always like just keeping up and following up on my G's and it's like a hero's journey. It's an online hero's journey. I like looking back at the progress, like seeing, oh, did my speaking elevate? Did my money go up? Like what happened in these 4 months? So I like it. I enjoy these and appreciate your time, Rokas.
Amazing. All right. So, I think we get straight into it. In those 4 months, what comes to mind in terms of updates? What's been going on for you?
I mean, it feels like forever. 4 months is it's genuinely a long time. And 2025 is here. I mean, it's here. 2024 is probably like the best year of my life. Just looking back on everything that happened. I mean, silver play button, 100K, 10K in 1 month, and then just elevating as a person. So what happened in these 4 months? I can't pinpoint exactly precise moments, but I got a lot more into crypto. I started developing and networking in my local scene and just getting close, like with political figures, I guess you could say. And just continue elevating like myself as a person. Money wise, I have money that's backed up. I'm owed like way over 10 grand and I'm sending the invoices out now. It's just the work that I did within those 4 months. And I just had to wait till all the projects were complete. So I have a lot of money coming and I'm excited for that too. So
All right. When you say networking, how does
mhm.
that work? Are you still 18? Have you turned 19?
Yeah, I turned 19 in December. So 19 now. So new age bracket.
Birthday. So, as a 19-year-old, how do you network with people? Specifically, you said politicians, right?
Mhm.
How does that work at your age?
So essentially, I was just looking like to do things that just fill my time. And then my buddy, he's into the political scene. He's been in since like he was like young, and he's my age as well. So I was like, yo, bro, like just start inviting me to these events. So I started going little by little, started talking with people, and then eventually I made it to like the mayor, and he got elected. And now I'm pretty close with the mayor. I'm trying to like do things with him, and just other political areas, just networking, because that's where quote unquote rich people are. But that's where the people that have the power, want the power, and they're the ones that dictating like I guess my future. So I want to know how it's like how are they deciding on certain things that they're voting in because it does affect me. It's this my city's pretty small and whatever they like, whatever they do, I'm gonna see it happen. Like I see the roads being fixed, I see the lights being fixed, I see the sidewalks are cracked and they're not fixing that. Why are they fixing that? So I just wanted to get more involved, see like what's actually happening. And then my age comes into factor because people are like, oh wow, you're so young. And I mean, they see that it's a double-edged sword. I like to say that my age is a double-edged sword because people see, oh, you're so young, so they're drawn to it, and then people are like, oh, you're so young, and then they just disregard everything I'm saying. So networking wise, just showing up to events and then just speaking to people and being likable, and I feel like I've built that up, and it's going pretty well right now.
So, one of the things you mentioned is likability. Would you add anything else so age, likability? Is there more for what you think they see in you, and why they give their time to you? Just for other people who might be interested in following along that path as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Like one thing about me, I don't really like to brag about like what I do, like any accomplishments I did, and people say I should do that more. But that's like a fine line that you have to walk because if you just come off like, oh, you're trying to just impress, people are gonna be like, they're just gonna have like a certain vibe off you. So it's just like I don't want you. I don't even want to like just attempt it. Maybe I should, but I'm not too sure. I'll ask you for like if you think I should, but if you want like just people to like you, people to talk to you, you have to give them value. So one thing that I do is I like to ask them like, oh, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Because people like talking about themselves. So that's one thing. And then I start like adding in like my story, so they start resonating with me, and then just being likable as a person. There's like one thing that I get is like, oh wow, you're so young. What was I doing when I was your age? And another thing is like I see something in you, and like a lot of people say that, and I see it in myself. Like it's just like the aura, the drawn to the aura, and I can't explain that. But if you just have like a vision, if you have a goal, if you have drive, they're gonna feel that. So if you don't have any of those things, and you're trying to go network, I guess you could say, then people may not resonate with you. people resonate with me. They want to do things with me, and I do offer value. I bought my camera, you can't see it, so I'm like, oh, if you want to shoot videos, let me know. So it's just like an easy way for me to just get in there, I guess you could say.
That's where many people might get mistaken. They think,
Yeah.
maybe I need to prove myself to the person. So let me tell them
Mhm.
all the accomplishments I've made. That is probably one of the worst things you can do. Like, as you say, the most important part is actually be genuinely interested in them, because
Yeah.
people like to speak about themselves. And then as they're speaking about themselves, parts that resonate, then you could add in your own perspective on it,
Mhm.
maybe what you've gone
Yeah.
through as well. Then they'll think, oh,
Yeah.
so I guess he's had a similar path, or I see a lot of potential in him because of his work ethic at such a young age. So if he continues, there's so much more he can do. There's a lot of things that might go through people's minds, but definitely sounds like you have a very good perspective on it.
Mhm.
I guess I wanted to add my thoughts as well, which I guess
Yeah.
is simple. So I can
How do
give.
you how do you think? Because I've had people like literally say like, "Oh, how come you don't like tell people what you do? How come you don't like speak of your accomplishments? Because you like everything you've accomplished at a young age, that's crazy." And like they were telling me like to brag, basically, essentially, and I was like, it just feels weird. Like I don't know. It's just do you got like how do you bring up your accomplishments?
So that's how you do it. First, you show genuine interest in them and you ask them a lot of questions. And
Mhm.
eventually, they'll have a think, he's been asking me a lot about myself.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll ask him some questions about him as well. So that would be
Yeah.
one way. A second way, what you said, with as they're answering something, once they finish speaking, then you add your own life
Mhm.
experience or perspective onto it that
Yeah.
shows similar or the struggles you've been through. But
Yeah.
it's integrating into what they're saying and
Yeah.
never doing it from a perspective of look at what I do.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
And then like with me, like I feel like the best relationships they form when you're not trying to force anything. Like I don't like try to force like nothing. Like even if there's a dude that like, oh, I want to speak with him just because like what he does, I'm not gonna force it. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And I feel like the best relationships come out of like the unexpected ones. Like just randomly like start talking with this one dude. Turns out he owns like a crazy business and he has his podcast and he invited me to be on his podcast. And that was my first like in-person podcast. And I just started asking him like a question about his camera. So like I feel like the best relationships, the best like networking just comes from the spontaneous ones. And that's how I am as a person. I'm more spontaneous. I don't really try to plan everything out because I feel like it just restricts you in certain ways.
100%.
Mm.
People can sense as well if there's someone you specifically want to meet and speak to. When you approach them, they will sense that because you can't tell
Yeah.
that in person. It's usually
Yeah.
just as long as you have a genuine interest in people and you do it
Mhm.
from that perspective, then it will be a lot different in the approach, which again,
Yeah.
people can sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I worked on this. Geez, I don't want you guys to think like, oh, Rico just was easy as a natural. I worked on this. I was like considered the shy kid. I wasn't really talking to people, and I still have trouble talking to people. But just work on it. Just go talk. Just be yourself, and just make sure you're not like degrading to anybody or just like a bad person overall. If you're just a good person with a good heart, people will sense that. If you have a drive, if you have a plan, if you have like future goals for yourself, people are gonna sense that as well. Like it's hard to explain, but people can sense it, and you can sense it in other people as well. So if you just go be yourself, network, ask them about themselves, and then just input your own like story because everybody has a unique story. You'll do good if you're trying to network.
Yep. That also reminds me of. It's funny what we're doing now is basically what we just spoke about. So that does remind me of myself as well. When I was younger, I really wanted to connect more with people, but I
Yeah,
was really struggling to do so because I was also shy, anxious, everything along those
yeah,
lines. And there
yeah.
was a book that really helped me. I wonder if you read it as well. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Was that the book you were thinking of as well?
I read this one book. It's called How to Hug Your Customer. It's like an
Ah,
unknown book, but I just randomly got it like at a thrift store, and I just started reading. Like I can't read that much, but I read like pretty deep into it. Like reading's hard for me. That's something I want to like improve like on in 2025 is just read more. But like you can see all those books behind me, but I haven't even finished anyone. But that'll be we'll see in the next update. But I've watched like the YouTube videos, like the recaps on how to win friends and influence people. That's what like more what I do is just watch the recap videos. And I like videos, I like more hands-on stuff. But that book's definitely like helps. But even just volume, like everything comes back to volume, just getting the reps. Like I'm sure like when you first started networking, you weren't like the greatest, but now pretty G, bruv.
I'm doing okay, I guess. All right. So, what projects are you involved in now? And any new projects in the past 4 months? You mentioned crypto. Anything else?
In terms of like money wise, like how am I generating cash?
Or providing value to people? Anything?
So I'm actually gonna join like a local, like a mentorship program because I volunteered to like be a videographer for an event. They asked me, and I was like, you know what, like why not do it? And then there was a lot of people that got me like social credit, I guess you could say. But it was cool just seeing behind the scenes, seeing like the activists and what they stand for, like just fully believe in it. So I was like, all right, cool. I like seeing different perspectives as well. And there's some lady I met, like I didn't force anything. I just started talking with her. She's like, "Oh, I actually run this youth group. Do you want to like maybe be a mentor?" So I started talking with her. We went to like get coffee, and she's like, "Yeah." So I got my background check. I got my fingerprints done. I'm not no criminal, and I'm probably gonna be a mentor. She wants me to put together like a little presentation, like basically what I do, just so I can inspire the youth, and that's what I want to do, like with my YouTube channel. And I just feel like it resonates perfectly. So it's just gonna give me like that extra more practice in terms of like projects that I'm actually working where I'm getting cash. I just finished up a bunch more videos for Metrolink, and I did 5 videos, so gonna get pretty decent check. I added up all the expenses so they could reimburse me. I did a bunch of interviews. I need to get paid for those, and I'm finished. Yesterday I went to LA, Venice Beach, and I finished even more interviews. So I got these projects. I just need to send invoices, and then once the invoices get paid, I'll be back up on that leaderboard in the CC Plus AI campus. Yeah.
Mentorship. What have you actually began the mentorship yet, or it's in the works then?
It's in the works. It's in the works. So the presentation is not gonna happen for like another week. She wants me to put a presentation like just so she could introduce me. Like who are you? Like Rico, who are you? And I feel like it's gonna be pretty G. I've already went to like this youth group at my old middle school, and my old teacher, she has like this youth group where it's not the troubled kids, but that's essentially like what it is. The kids that maybe need that extra help, extra attention, and just that extra focus. Because she does like grade checks, she makes sure they're on the right track, and she has like people go present to him, like myself. So I went to present with them, and then I mentioned that, and she's like, "Oh wow, like join my youth mentorship group." So I'm gonna do like presentation, maybe teach them like social media because that's the online age is coming. It's like it's already here. Like that's where I make my money from. So just teach them about the certain ways because these kids maybe they think the only path is college, and I want to show them that you could do multiple paths, and they're open to that, which is like surprisingly, but I like that, and I feel like it's just gonna help me improve as a person because just like mentoring the kids, and then you never know what's gonna happen later down the line. Like, oh, 10 years from now, oh Rico, remember when you went to like this program and you helped me? Now I'm a famous YouTuber or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Hmm. And the responsibility of that, I'm sure, will shape you
Mhm.
in a different way as well over time.
Yeah, it'll make me hold myself to a higher standard. Because if I'm like, how am I going to teach these kids something if I'm not actively doing it or following it?
Exactly.
Mm.
And then crypto wise, what's going on there?
Actually, bro, so I'm sure you heard of Trump. Guys, let
Uh,
me show you a screenshot. So I was up crazy, but then it went back down, and now kind of in deficit right now, guys. But I'm optimistic. It doesn't matter if I lose. Let's say I lose 10K. Doesn't matter. I can make it back. Maybe God didn't want me to get the 10K. He wanted me to learn this lesson and go harder. So I don't like dwell on any mistakes. Like, oh, I should have pulled out. When I was up like 7 bands, I should have pulled out. And looking back, okay, Rico, you're desensitized to the number. 7K is a lot of money. Like even if it's like you don't have that 30x that everybody was chasing, 7,000 is a lot of money. And like just that's the lesson in itself. Stop being desensitized. That's a lot of money. Another lesson is like don't be greedy. Like I could just took it. I was like trying to get that crazy big bag, but just don't be greedy and just take your profits and walk away. So it's a lesson. I like it as a lesson, and maybe I'll get it back, maybe I won't, but I know I'll make it back. We'll see what happens, bro. But crypto, yeah, that's where I put like that's my bank. I don't keep really money in the bank. I don't really keep cash. I know I was flexing the cash, but the cash is all gone. I invested in the big camera.
and very well said, because these skills you're learning from business and
Mm,
networking, everything is making you a more competent person. And
mm,
worst case, if this hustle you're doing fails, you'll have the skills to start another one and actually make money from it.
Yeah.
Whereas people
Yeah.
only get money from crypto. If the coin goes down, they have nothing. Like there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
They have no skills. On your path over the past year, even longer, what mistakes did you make, so-called mistakes, that ended up being valuable experiences for you? Is there anything that comes to mind for it?
One thing would just be, I guess, girls. I put too much focus onto them, and not when I'm saying that, I'm not like, oh, I was chasing this girl, this girl, this girl. There was two main girls like within the last year that like I was getting close with, and I kind of let it affect me. But in a way, I never let it take me off my goal, off my path, because when they were taking like me away from that, I stopped it. I ended it. I saw stuff that I couldn't like just look past. Like I told them, oh, don't do this, and they did it. I'm like, okay, well, like, what do you want me to do? I'm not gonna be with you anymore. So it did mess with me a little bit, but the path's always been the same. I don't do nothing out of spite. I don't do nothing like out of, oh, I'm gonna get revenge. I'm gonna be so successful. I don't like to think in that frame because I think you should just do it for yourself. Do it for your family. That's like my driving factors for my family. So that was a mistake. Another mistake was the crypto thing. I did it twice, one with daddy, and then it sounded a little weird. One with Tate's coin and then Trump's coin. Like I just got too greedy. I could have took my profits. I could have been up, but I just got greedy. But it's the lessons. It's two lessons. Took two times. Maybe who knows? Maybe I'll take a third. But I think I'm learning those lessons along the way. Mistakes. I like to learn from other people's mistakes, so I don't make those same mistakes myself. Drinking alcohol, I really don't see a benefit, so I don't drink it. I see people's mistakes. They slipped out. They became alcoholic. They just every weekend they're out drinking. It's just addicted them to other substances. So like, why would I indulge in that? Drugs, I don't see zero. I see zero benefit with drugs. So why would I do it? Same with smoking. None of that. I'm even underage still, but I've always been offered. I've never taken it, and I don't plan on taking it. And partying, don't see no benefit, especially like house parties or whatever. Just zero benefit. It's always drama. Stay away from drama people. Like I stay in my lane. Like literally stay in my lane. I tried to make as minimal mistakes as possible and learn from other people's mistakes. That's why networking, I always ask like, oh, certain questions like, oh, did you make any mistakes? One thing that I've been asking is like college. Like, what are their thoughts on college? And I always get mixed reviews. So maybe that's going to be a mistake later. I doubt it, but you never know. So I'm still going. I'm still learning. Maybe a move I made 2 days ago was a mistake, and we'll see what happens. But I feel like I don't really make mistakes. The more like stuff that I do is just the mindset. That's like the hardest thing. Is just like the limiting mindset. It's not letting me like fully unlock my potential yet.
How would you define success for yourself?
It's not money wise. That's one thing. It's just it's not money wise. Like yes, you need the money obviously, and maybe I'm not hitting those crazy high numbers like 20K a month, 30K a month. But I feel like I'm very successful at young. It's just the mindset I have instilled in myself, the things that I'm actively chasing, the person that I'm building myself, the network that I'm developing and building, and just the skills I'm developing as well. Because not many people know how to work a camera. Not many people how to talk in front of a camera. Not many people know how to edit. Not many people know how to speak, like just in general, public speaking. I'm very fantastic at that. Not many people know how to get other people to open up. Like comes back to the networking. Not many people just know how to make money online. So it's a skill that I'm building in itself, and it's becoming way more valuable because as we're getting faster, it's getting more competitive. There's people that are already established long time, and the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to get started. So if you just get started now, like what I did back in high school, like how are you going to fail? If you're just continuously at it every day, I consider that success. If you continuously go at it every single day, no breaks, no rest, and not distracted, you're successful. The money's gonna come. The money's the byproduct. Like these 4 months, I may have like not got that much money, but that work I put in is gonna give me just a big fat paycheck, like in literally a few days. Sometimes that's what it takes. You,
Is there anything you'd have to say for what's the most unexpected thing you've learned about yourself on this journey that you've been on?
unexpected.
Hmm.
That's a hard question. It's the most unexpected thing I've learned about myself. Is that I'm resilient. I've always kind of known this though. And another thing is just don't let other people cloud your thoughts, cloud your mind, and just don't let other people shape your perception of yourself. So people always like didn't really gravitate towards me. It was like it was weird. It was odd. But I always felt like I had that different mindset. People just felt that, and they're like they try to put me down in certain ways, but I never let it happen. Like I always believed in myself, and I always have like confidence. People could say whatever they want, but it's confidence. I'm not. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I think I'm confident in myself. So the most unexpected was just realizing that everything that I've thought was true, even if like my mindset tells me otherwise, even if other people tell me otherwise. But that's the most unexpected thing. It's just like how resilient, how strong I am, how just continue every day. I get to go at it. And another thing is like the unexpected thing that I learned about myself was how I'm an inspiration to others. Like I didn't realize it, but people tell me like, "Oh, bro, like Rico makes me want to go harder. I see everything that Rico's doing." It's like what am I doing? So Rico makes me want to go harder. When I heard that like in person from someone that I used to know, it was like, what the heck? Because he was presenting as well. I was like, it just is. I don't know. It just made me want to go even harder because I have all these people watching me, people on my line. I mean, maybe they're not even supporting, but they're just always watching. So unexpected thing was just learning that I am what I thought I always was, and that I'm an inspiration to others, and people are always watching.
And in your answer, you mentioned confidence, resilience, but then before you also mentioned self doubt. So at what point does the self doubt come in?
I mean, the self doubts every day. It's like, oh, are you on the right path? It was very what's the word? It was very like present when I first decided not to go to college because I seen everybody, oh Rico, like you're not going to college? Oh Rico, I just got accepted to this one college. I just got accepted. I'm going here, this and that. Rico, I just started my first day of college. Like I was getting that FOMO. I was like, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? And I still get that to this day. It's like, oh, am I on the right path? What am I? Am everything I'm doing? I'm not hitting these crazy high months yet, but like, will I hit it? Will I eventually hit it? And it comes back to that desensitization. I'm making average $4,000 a month. People make that on the minimum wage. I mean, people make that even after a college degree. So, and I've hit the crazy high numbers. I've hit 10K, I've hit 8K, I've hit 7K, I've hit 5K. So, like, if I just continue at it, this year 2025 is going to be crazy, more exponential growth than 2024. And it's just, I'm always going to just continue attacking.
Are you still using the real world for anything?
Yeah, I'm in the world every single day. So I'm a captain in the CC Plus AI campus, but even besides that, I'm always in different campuses, saying what's up, getting the knowledge, and just developing myself because you can never stop learning. I'm always watching the lessons. I'm always listening to the lessons, chatting in the chat with my G's. And the real is where I started. That's where I found my community because when I first started, like I said, I was by myself. I was lonely. But God brings these people on your path and he makes you connect with them. And it's the most unexpected relationships ever. I just hit, it's going to sound weird, but I just hit 1 year with one of the G's I know. And he's like probably my closest buddy now, my best friend. And I didn't have nobody like come a year ago or 2 years ago. I was by myself, literally by myself in this room. And you get to see the room upgraded as well. Everything's upgraded. Me, the room, camera, the money, everything, bro. But it was lonely. So the community really helped me. I'm not sure what I would have done without it. Who knows where I'd be without the real, like as a whole. And just the connections I got. I mean, the professor inside the CC Plus AI campus, Mr. Pope, I actually won the Santa's Grotto, so paid for the studio. I would have a studio if I was in the world. So grateful for the world, and it's changed my life. 19-year-old college dropout that joined the world, and I make money online. I don't have to work a job. I don't have to go to college, and I'm just continuing editing myself every single day.
That's crazy. That
Yeah.
same Pope paid for the studio as well. So
Yeah.
you can genuinely tell how much the people in the real world actually care about each other.
Yeah.
The professors
Yeah.
as well, the students.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it ties back to just having that vision, having that goal. Pope's seen it since the beginning. I remember when I first joined the campus in April of 2023. Yeah, April 2023 or May, I'm not sure, one of those months. But I've always asked him questions. Hey, how do I do this? How do I do this? He always saw like that drive and that hunger, and that's what everybody sees in me because I actively want to get better. Like, I don't care if I've been doing something for a while. I don't care if I've barely started something. I'm always going to ask questions. Like, for example, I shot guns for the first time a few months back in summer. I was asking, oh, like, what does this do? What does that do? What does this do? And I don't care if people like, oh, look at this dude doesn't know anything. I don't know anything. That was my first time shooting guns. I want to learn how to do it right. So I had a shotgun, bro. I was like, how do I hold it? So I made sure I didn't think it was gonna cock back that much. And I remember I shot it It went zoom. It was like right here. And I was like, yo. But if I didn't ask him, I would have got hit in the face. I was like, okay, where did I hold it? I didn't expect it to have that much power, but then I learned the second time. So I held it. So ask questions. It doesn't matter. One thing in school, maybe that's why like I kind of was against school, because I love learning, guys. I love learning. Don't even get it wrong. But I'd always ask questions. The teacher told me, "Oh, Rico, you're asking more questions." What? Like, sorry, I'm trying to learn in school. I'm trying to ask questions, but that's why I don't care. Like, I'm always gonna ask something, even if Elon Musk, I'll ask him something. Doesn't matter. If it's gonna elevate me and help me, I'm gonna ask him.
Well, you'd want to ask him quite a lot of questions, probably more than you'd want to ask your teachers.
Yeah.
All right. How do you decide which hustles or projects are actually worth pursuing? Because you're in a lot of things, technically.
Yeah. So essentially, I like to fill myself up. I like pressure. I don't know why I like pressure. Like even in school, I always procrastinated till the end. And I remember one of my teachers, she told me, I still have like, she was a great teacher. She's like, Rico, you always like wait till the last minute. And I was like, yeah, I do, Loki. And she's like, because I know you could do the work. Like you're very smart. Like you just every time you do the work, like it's great work. I think you just like the pressure. And when she said that, it's just like I was like, she's right. Because I've always like I didn't struggle with it. It's just like I just didn't want to do it till the last minute. I like just like, oh, I have one day to turn on my work, and I guess it was just the pressure. So I try to apply that pressure to myself now. Like, oh, I have 1 week to get this YouTube video out. Oh, I have 3 days to film this UGC video, these interviews. I have everything shut down. How am I gonna do this? Like this happened in the past, and yes, sometimes I make them short, but I make it known to the brand, and they're like happy. They're like, okay, yeah, cool, go get it next week. So just that pressure, building that pressure it's hard because when you're doing like entrepreneurship, it's a solo journey, and you have to inflict that pressure on yourself. Because if you're starting your business from like on your own, no one's gonna tell you, "Oh, Rico, you got to get up. Oh, Rico, you got to do this. Oh, Rico, you have to do these tasks." Maybe you don't want to do them, but you have to do them. It's the part of the process. And if you're not gonna do it, then don't even try to do the entrepreneurship journey. That's why I tell kids like in school, they're like, "Oh, I hate school, bro. Like I don't even do my homework. I have all of these and F's." I'm like, bro, if you can't even like force yourself to do something you don't like, how do you expect to do something in business when, let's say, you're gonna have to do the cheat sheets, the stats, the docs, like what? It doesn't make sense to me. Like instill and build those discipline right now, those skills. That's just like, okay, I have to do this no matter what, because it's gonna come in favor later. So back to like the original point is just continue attacking.
Cool. And with that, what do you want your legacy to be?
I feel like I'm building that out right now on the YouTube channel, which is over 200,000 across 200,000 Rokus. But
Congratulations.
thank
So
you.
doubled since we last spoke.
Yeah, yeah.
Almost.
Like it took forever to get 100, but then I remember I just got to 200 like that, and I was like, what the heck? But I'm building like my legacy on YouTube. I want to be remembered as like Rico just didn't give up. Rico always pursued. Rico just didn't care what anybody said. Went after no matter what. And you could already see that now. I'm kind of adding new topics. Like I did a video talking about how to overcome your shyness. And maybe the views ain't there, but it helped a lot of people. It helped the people that I wanted to help. And I'm going to continue attacking those till one of them pops. And when one of them pops, all of them are going to pop. So I'm building my legacy. I just want to be helpful to people. I want to make sure that they see Rico, ordinary kid who did extraordinary things, and inspire and give inspiration to those that are the ordinary kids and they can do it themselves. Because you don't need college to succeed. You don't need to just do the norm to succeed. You could go against the status quo, something I like saying, and you could still be successful. There's a lot of things coming. AI. And I'm still figuring out how to instill that into like my brand and stuff like that. But AI, consecration, the digital age, online persona, this is all new skills and new valuable. This is our gold mine. Crypto's even crazy. The returns that you get is more than a house. It's more than stocks. So like, why wouldn't you obviously put some money into it? Just there's so many new things that people are missing just because they're not putting the action, not like doing the upfront work. And I just want to make it known. I'm showing my journey. I'm documenting my journey, and it's resonating with people. They're seeing me actually go get it, me doing the hustle, me making the cash. They see the authenticity. They're not, and I don't want to be like considered a sellout. I don't want to be considered like those people that just whatever fake it, and I just don't want to fall off. That's like the hardest thing. But My legacy is going to be on there no matter what. No matter if I have millions of people watching or 100 people watching. Doesn't matter. It's not going to affect me.
Beautifully said. And I think that's a good way to wrap up. So I'll end up with the final question I've always been asking you every single interview. So since it began in the real world, for people who are unsure about joining because they're thinking they might get scammed for $50, what advice do you have to those people?
If you don't join the real world in 2025, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. The longer you wait to get started, the harder it's going to be. Every single day, there's more competitors. Every single day, it's getting harder to learn these new skills because they're getting more advanced, especially with AI. So the longer you wait, the longer you're selling yourself short. Get started, get inside the real world, put in that initial work, and just watch rewards. I think it was just a year ago. I'm not too sure. It was like a year and a half ago. I barely started. I was like, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? I've hit over 10K 2 times in 2 months. I've hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I got a new camera. I got a new studio. I elevated myself as a person. I'm more stronger. I'm able to do muscle ups, pull ups, calisthenics, everything else. Boxing's G. I'm G as a person, and my confidence is through the roof. And it's because of the world, the community, and all the lessons provided. Yes, you could probably find it on YouTube, whatever. Yes, you could like maybe get the lessons. Doesn't matter. You're not gonna get that community. You're not gonna get that personal touch with your professors. And honestly, it's just a great place. If you can't risk $50 for yourself and you expect to succeed in life, like what are you gonna do? Like, yes, you can succeed without the world, but the world's gonna fast succeed your progress. That's what it did with me. I was already on this path. I joined the world and it just elevated to that 10. So if you don't want to join the world, it's totally up to you. If you do, I'll see you inside the world. The world has changed my life and it's changed millions of others. I'm a 19-year-old college dropout that's made 60 grand in 1 year, and we'll see what happens in 2025.
Very well said. And now, if people want to find out more about you or contact you, what could they do?
Rico, Rixo on everything. RICO, RIXO, everything. You can find me. Text me. I'll open. I'm very open. I answer to anything. I'm not trying to just hide everything. Because I don't like those people that try to just not tell you details. Like me, I ask a lot of questions, and I've seen from the top people, the more you ask, the more they tell you. They're not the people that restrict like information. Like, oh no, like it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like those type of people. So if you ask me anything, I'll tell you straight up. I won't tell you like personal info, obviously, but anything like, oh Rico, like how do I get over this mindset? Like I'll tell you. I'll tell you my experience. So reach out to me.
And I'll add the links to the description of the video, so anyone is interested can check them. And yeah, Rico, great talk. I'd love to see you again, to speak to you again.
Yes, sir.
As always, great progress from your end in just
Appreciate
4
it,
months.
brother.
With everything you're doing, setting yourself up for an amazing 2025. So we'll do another
Yes, sir.
follow-up at some point in 2025 to
Most
get that
definitely.
book. And yeah,
Summer?
then summer, maybe halfway through. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when it
Yeah.
makes sense.
All right,
But
cool.
yeah,
All right.
I wish
Appreciate
you
it,
all the
brother.
best. And until then.
Yes, sir. You as well. See you guys.